Hey everybody, I'm Julie Baumgardner, the CEO at First Things First. We've been hearing from a lot of you that the emotions are running high for your children. And so I asked Reggie Madison, who's our program director, to join me today to have a conversation about helping your children to process, deal with, talk about their emotions when it comes to COVID-19, the coronavirus. And I know we've had a number of conversations about this and you've written some about it. So why don't you tell us the kinds of things that even with your own children, you have been having conversations about when it comes to their emotions around coronavirus and just their feelings, what they're experiencing.
Well, I think part of it is first as we've looked at how their lives have changed. Like that was our way of kind of setting the stage because when you're, their baseball and softball seasons were canceled and volleyball seasons. Their scouting troops, they didn't have that anymore. And then just the fact that we're home all the time. So that's
thing we wished for that now it's like, bring anything.
Just the other day, I mean, Michaela, my oldest, is like, can we move to such and such because my friends live there? And so not think that their emotions are affected is, I know for me, would be naive with my own kids.
Yeah.
And so to connect and begin to ask, so how does that make you feel? Does it bother you? Have you had some sadness? We've just had to try to ask some specific, direct questions, but we've linked them to specific things that might cause that or might, directly affect it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and even things that are coming up, whether it's in the news or just in conversations that you guys are having about when you might return to work, or that we don't know what's going to happen with school. And I mean, even whether you homeschool or you send your children off to school, it's just different right now.
And I think part of the challenge is we entered into this and no one knew. And really, here we are.
No one still knows.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, there's just a ton that we don't know.
And so they are learning. I mean, we're processing this real time.
Yeah.
There's no blueprint.
No.
So they are processing it real time. And what they get is different than what we get sometimes. Even though it might be the same specific thing, it affects us differently.
Yeah.
So what it's going to look like coming out, we have no idea. We're trying to, I think, build a bank of, we don't know, but we're going to work through this together. We don't know, but we have each other. We don't know, but we're going to talk about it as it comes. Yeah. And so the safety is not in being certain. The safety is in being around people you care about to figure it out with them.
Well, and that you're leading. Even though we don't know, we are leading the way for you and we're with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think we eat a lot of more meals together. Mm-hmm. And some of those meals are intentional, where it gives us a chance to talk and provide some consistency, just daily activity that they know is coming. It gives us all a chance to process what's going on.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, talk about the things we're uncertain about.
Right. So let's talk about, just for a second, you and I were talking earlier that emotions aren't right or wrong. They just are. And where we as adults may have more language around or more capacity to handle what's happening, I mean, we might really see a wide spectrum of response from our children, depending on their age and just their maturity level in terms of handling all that's happening.
I think let's start with the fact that emotions sometimes scare us.
Sure.
because they come and we don't feel like we have control over the creation of that emotion. Like all of a sudden I felt anxious. Well, I may not have control over the fact that I felt anxious that very moment.
Yeah.
Now, when your kid feels anxious, as a parent, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to, do all that you can. You want to solve the problem.
Right.
But
Right.
sometimes, guess what? That may not be, you're not there to solve the problem. We're there to teach them and help them learn to process it out loud. And for whether it's a 7-year-old is going to process differently than a 15-year-old. It's funny, a 7-year-old, I might give them a sheet of paper and say, draw a smile and draw a face or draw something that shows how you're feeling.
Yeah.
I might give a 15-year-old, we might go on the internet and just pull up a emotion wheel or emotion chart and say, okay, which one of those words describes how you're feeling?
Yeah.
Different ways at the same thing.
I so love that, because I think where we might feel like, oh, I want to fix this, I so badly don't want you to have to walk through this or experience this. The reality is learning how to kind of grapple with your emotions and what to do when you find yourself feeling anxious or sad or fearful or just totally down that you don't get to be with your friends. The upside is it's great practice on how to handle emotions, how to be self-aware.
To your point, I'm convinced the destructive power of emotions is in whether it's the shame or the hiding of it.
Mm.
I feel like I have to bury it. That's where it gets its power to be destructive. And there's a freeing aspect that just comes to naming that thing,
Mm-hmm.
identifying it, and kind of stripping it of its power to control you.
Yeah. So straight up, teaching your children how to identify an emotion and then to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, I think, with kids is you never know when those opportunities might come.
I so remember at 10 o'clock at night when I am barely awake, our daughter coming in and saying, can we talk? I just need to have a conversation with you about whatever. And I'm like, yes.
Right. At that point, you're fighting everything within you to say, can we talk about this tomorrow?
Yeah. Besides, so beyond having the conversations, identifying the emotions, what else would you say to parents as they're wading through quarantine and people are having to do things that most of us are not liking? I don't like being quarantined. I don't like not seeing my friends. I don't like not being able to be free to come and go and do the things that we want to do. I don't like that we can't do sports.
I know I have to make sure I wash my facials when they say, if they're sad. Because think about it, as a parent, you know that, look, there's nothing I can do about it. You can't play baseball right now.
Yeah.
So it's easy to say, why are you sad about it? There's nothing we can do. But that's not validating at all.
Yeah.
And so catching my face, catching my thoughts and say, you know what? And just showing some empathy, showing some compassion, and acknowledging that, you know what, the way you're feeling is okay.
Or I'm feeling that way too. I don't like it either.
Right. And so what I've had to do is then, even if with their feeling or situation that they can't change might be different than mine, I can just go to how this has affected me and ways of things I've had to deal with. And so that just ability to validate their emotions and provide that safe, non-judgmental space,
Yeah.
it provides people, kids especially, a security that, you know what, I'm with the right people right now in the midst of this trying time.
What do you think for parents taking the time to process their own emotions about this, and how being actually able to do that impacts how they are able to engage with their kids and have conversation with their kids.
It's difficult to model what you don't do.
Yeah,
and
that'd be true.
Right. And so let's talk about self-care and just what are you doing to be real and honest about how this is affecting you.
Mm-hmm.
um and so whether it's taking quiet time, if you have somebody you can talk to, having conversations, journaling yourself, I mean, there's different things we can do. And then as we are working through and processing, I think it helps. I think there are things we share with the kids, there are things we may not share, but we can help them and say, I have felt kind of anxious at times or fearful, and this is what I did, or just to be able to let them know that there's not a super, line that, "Whoa, once I hit this age, I never experienced anything."
Yeah.
It makes a child comfortable when they know, wow, my dad, he has emotions. I guess it's okay. He's this grown man and he experiences it.
Yeah, and I don't want to jump over what you mentioned about journaling, because we know that there's a couple of blogs about journaling for adults and journaling for kids that thousands of people are taking advantage of, because it's just really been helpful to kind of get your thoughts out of your head and on paper.
In fact, I was looking at that a few minutes before our call today. And so many of those questions, as parents, sometimes we really don't know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
And, it can be as simple as whether you have them write the question, whether you throw the question up at bedtime,
Or
before we
even
go
around the dinner table as a
right.
conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have to create some opportunities,
Yeah.
uh, which is why I think rituals and routines,
Oh.
we have some rituals, when we have some routines, then often those have some built-in opportunities for us to connect.
Mm, boy. And the connection right now, especially for children, in a moment where there's a lot of things that do feel very out of control, very different, ever changing, the routines and the rituals help provide that connection that calms children down.
Yes. And it has helped us because when we've had that, for instance, particularly for us, the mealtime is really that time to do that. It allows us to go all the way from identify, process, to then thinking about, wow, if you're feeling like this, other people are feeling like this, and what can we do to help others get through this time? And so whether that spurs into some video conferencing with family and friends and loved ones, now they've taken their emotion and they've seen how what their experience is now helping someone else. And what we want to do is for them to begin to look back on this and connect the emotions with something, a positive memory,
Yeah.
and not a negative one.
I think that's such a great point, because it is easy to become very internally focused and kind of, it's all about me and what I'm feeling. And when you're part of a family, that becomes problematic at some point. But taking the focus off of you or off of the whole on somebody else, hello, is helpful.
Yes. So for us and our children, that's just been a big deal for them to really process and think through, not stopping there, not letting those emotions begin to control you, or for you to just sit on it and marinate on it.
Yeah.
You have them for a reason, and they let you know something about yourself,
Yeah.
but they also can be transformed in some really powerful things.
Oh my goodness. So that's a great point. Some parents may be really tired of being asked the same question for the 50,000th time, or just yes, we're all sad. Yes, this is hard for all of us. But recognizing that sometimes you've got a little mini me, and that's mirroring what you kind of are reflecting behaviorally, and you don't even realize it, right?
Right. That's so true. But it also, I think about the number of times there's just basic things we can do though. We've got to make sure their physical needs are being met. Are they eating well?
Yeah.
Are they getting a good night's rest?
Yeah.
Are they doing some activity? Are they getting outside?
Yeah.
All those things help us to process our emotions a little bit better.
All of us, right?
And it also, I think, gives us a chance to do some fun things together.
Yeah.
So that we don't just get focused on what we don't have. So those conversations of, okay, how do we take advantage of this, as opposed to, man, I'm focused on all the things I don't have now. Well, we have a lot. We have a lot. And it starts with, we have each other.
Yeah, boy, that right there could be an activity in and of itself. What do we have to be grateful for, even in the midst of quarantine and COVID-19?
Well, and it's something I know we're trying to do that on a regular basis. Just what are we thankful for? What are we grateful for? Just, we've read all kinds of studies that when your brain focuses on what you're grateful for, it keeps you just positive. It keeps you going in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah. What about seeking professional help? I mean, at what point do you, maybe as a parent, seek out help to figure out how to navigate this with your children?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think it's important for us to recognize when they're beginning to be harmful or show signs of wanting to be harmful to themselves or to, other people within the family. We may need some outside help. When we start to really isolate ourselves, particularly for extended periods of time, everyone needs some alone time. I think we all need some just quiet time, some private time, but extended periods of isolation can really become dangerous for all of us.
So paying attention to when you see marked changes in their behavior, that would be a red flag that perhaps it's time to ask someone for some guidance.
Right. I mean, I have 7 kids, and some are extremely talkative, and it's like they never want to stop talking. If they were to go from that to never talking to just being super quiet and nothing we were doing was working, then I would probably call, a professional and say, here's the issue. I need some help.
Yeah. That's good. And it just goes to that whole idea of we need to be paying attention to our kids and just don't slough it off that, oh, they're just whatever today. If that's something that's going on over an extended period of time, it's probably worthy of paying attention to.
And we need to know that that's not a reflection on us as a parent.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah.
No, seriously. I mean, I think it's important.
Yes. People respond differently. Children respond differently. And just because, one of my kids responds in a way that causes or encourages me to get some outside help does not mean that I have failed as a parent.
No.
In fact, I have to be thankful to the fact that I have support, and not just if I call for outside help. I've come to recognize there are some things that my kids enjoy talking to their grandmother about more than they enjoy talking to me.
Yeah.
And
that village or tribe, right?
Exactly. I could get jealous, or I could be envious, or I can be appreciative that I have the support in raising them.
Well, that, and the other thing that we've talked about many times is just the importance of actually saying out loud, I love you. There's nothing you can do that will make me love you more or make me love you less. I love you. And we're gonna get through this together.
You're right. That unconditional support, that unconditional love, that unconditional belonging. There's nothing you can do that's going to make me get rid of you. For once again, whether you're an adolescent or a teenager or a toddler, and I can even remember as a child when I had to be getting on my parents' everlasting nerves with just what I thought they weren't doing right, or what or just however I was feeling.
Yeah.
There's something about knowing that they're still going to be there.
Yeah. Okay, so I just want to make sure that I grasp what you've shared with us today. You talked about emotions not being right or wrong, and being willing to process with your children, age appropriately so, about those emotions, the feelings that they're having, and not discounting them. And then allowing them the opportunity to journal about them, or to actually have conversation about them, whether it's just family time together or around the dinner table. The importance of people being able to have their space and alone time, so together time and alone time, for them to know we're in this together, and I may not have all the answers to the questions that you're asking, but we're going to walk this road together and we'll figure it out, and not being afraid to say, I don't know. And then seeking help. If you feel like you're struggling with what to do next to be helpful, and that your child's kind of flailing, that they're having a hard time and everything you're doing isn't working, not to be afraid to seek help.
Yes. We're all new to this. We're all experiencing things for the first time.
Yeah.
And so, and as we do that, we're learning, and we can learn from other people. So we have to take the time to learn from others.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to have this conversation. It's been helpful to me. I think it will be helpful to lots of other folks.
Thank you. I appreciate it.